Ever walk out of a room and feel completely invisible? Like you were a ghost at the party, a blank face in the meeting. You said all the right things, but you didn't leave a single ripple. What if there's a hidden language, a code that makes certain people unforgettable? Most people think charisma is a gift you're born with. That's a dangerous myth. 99% will miss the final part of this, where we build the internal mindset that makes all these external tricks feel real and authentic. Skipping it is like learning the words to a song without ever hearing the music. You'll just be a performer, never a presence, and people can always feel the difference. First impressions. Okay, let's dive right into the science of the first 7 seconds, because that is literally all the time your brain and everyone else's brain takes to make a massive judgment call about you. We like to think we're very advanced, logical beings, but when we first meet someone, our brain is running a very ancient, very primitive software program. It's asking 2 fundamental questions, and it's asking them incredibly fast. Question 1, can I trust you? Question 2, can I respect you? In the world of psychology, we call this the warmth and competence model. Every single signal you send, from the tiniest muscle twitch around your eyes to the way you hold your hands, is being sorted into one of these 2 buckets. Warmth cues say, I'm a friend, I'm safe, I'm an ally. Competence cues say, I'm capable, I'm credible, I'm a force to be reckoned with. The secret to magnetic charisma isn't about being the warmest person in the room or the most competent. It's about learning how to dial up both at the same time. This is where most people get it wrong. They over-index on one and completely neglect the other. The people pleaser is all warmth all the time, lots of nodding, smiling, accommodating. They're seen as kind, but often get overlooked, interrupted, or dismissed. Their competence signals are non-existent. On the other end, you have the person who is all competence. They stand rigidly, speak in a monotone, avoid smiling to look serious. They might be seen as smart, but they're also seen as arrogant, cold, or intimidating. People don't want to collaborate with them. The truly charismatic person is a beautiful paradox. They are warmly competent. They are powerfully kind. They make you feel both comfortable and impressed. So how do we do this? We have to become masters of our nonverbal cues. Let's start with warmth, because it's the gateway to connection. Without it, your competence will never get a chance to shine. The number 1 warmth signal is a genuine smile. Now, our brains are brilliant lie detectors. They can spot a fake, polite smile from a mile away. A fake smile only uses the muscles around your mouth. A real, genuine smile, what scientists call a Duchenne smile, also engages the muscles around your eyes, creating those little crinkles at the corners. So, how do you produce a real one on demand? You can't just think smile. You have to trigger a genuinely positive thought. Before you walk into that room, before you log onto that video call, I want you to think of something that genuinely makes you happy. A person, a pet, a funny memory, a goal you're excited about. Feel that little jolt of warmth inside you, then let the smile happen. It will reach your eyes, and the person you're meeting will feel it on a deep neurological level. The next warmth cue is the eyebrow flash. It's a tiny, lightning-fast upward flick of the eyebrows that lasts for a fraction of a second. It non-verbally says, I see you, I acknowledge you, you are not a threat. It's a universal signal of recognition and openness. The final warmth cue is the head tilt. When we tilt our head, we expose our neck, a vulnerable part of our body. Subconsciously, this signals trust and engagement. It says, I'm listening. I'm curious about what you have to say. Now, let's layer in the competence. These cues are about showing power and credibility, but in a calm, grounded way. The most important competence cue is your posture and presence. I want you to take up space. Charismatic, confident people are not afraid to be expansive. This means keeping your shoulders back, your chest open, and your head held high. When you're standing, have your feet about shoulder width apart. This creates a literal and metaphorical foundation of stability. The opposite of this is shrinking. When we feel nervous, we tend to make ourselves smaller. We hunch our shoulders, cross our arms, tuck our chin. These are low-power cues that signal to others that we feel insecure. Your goal is to send a congruent message. Your body language should match the confident person you want to be. The second competence cue is the power of stillness. Nervous energy often leaks out through fidgeting, tapping your feet, playing with your hair, shifting your weight. Highly competent people have an economy of movement. Their gestures are purposeful and deliberate. When they are not speaking, they are often beautifully still, which communicates a deep sense of internal calm and control. When you do use your hands, use them to illustrate your points. Don't hide them in your pockets, which can be seen as a low confidence or deceptive cue. Gesturing with open palms is a fantastic hybrid cue. It shows both warmth, I have nothing to hide, and competence. I am confident in what I am saying. By consciously practicing these cues, a genuine smile, an eyebrow flash, an open posture, and purposeful stillness, you are no longer leaving your first impression to chance. You are becoming the architect of how people perceive you, building a powerful foundation of both warmth and competence from the very first second. Vocal authority. Okay, we have our nonverbal first impression locked in. You walk into the room, you're sending all the right signals with your body, but then you open your mouth to speak. Your voice is one of the most powerful and tragically underrated tools of influence you possess. It is a direct pipeline to how people perceive your confidence, your credibility, and even your leadership potential. You can have the most brilliant idea in the world, but if you deliver it with a weak, uncertain, or shaky voice, the idea itself will be perceived as weak and uncertain. Your vocal cues can either amplify your message or completely sabotage it. The science here is fascinating. When we feel nervous or insecure, our vocal cords tighten up. It's part of our body's fight or flight response. This physical tension has two immediate effects on our voice. Our pitch goes up and our pace speeds up. We've all heard it and we've all done it. It's that slightly frantic, high-pitched tone that signals anxiety. Even more destructive is a habit that has become an epidemic, especially in professional settings, the upward inflection or uptalk. This is when you end a declarative statement as if it were a question, with your voice rising at the end. You say something like, I think we should go with this marketing plan, or my name is Vanessa. That little upward lilt at the end completely drains your statement of all its power. It non-verbally communicates, I'm not sure about this. Are you okay with this? Please validate me. It turns a statement of fact into a plea for approval. The secret to vocal authority, the key to sounding as confident as you want to feel, is mastering the downward inflection. A downward inflection is when you end your statements on a slightly lower note than where you started. It is the vocal equivalent of putting a period at the end of your sentence. It signals finality, certainty, and conviction. It is the natural speaking pattern of leaders, of experts, of people who are comfortable in their own skin. The difference is night and day. Listen to yourself say this sentence out loud, first with an upward inflection. My name is your name? Now, say it again, but this time, make a conscious effort to land on a lower note at the end, like a stone settling on the ground. My name is your name. Can you feel the difference? The second one is grounded, it's solid. It's a statement of fact, not an apology for existing. This is a skill you can practice. You can do it in your car, you can do it in the shower. Record yourself on your phone, read a passage from a book, and focus solely on ending every single sentence with a downward inflection. At first, it might feel a bit unnatural or overly assertive, especially if you're a chronic uptalker, but over time, it will recalibrate your natural speaking pattern, creating a new habit of vocal confidence. But authority isn't just about sounding certain, it's also about sounding engaging. This is where vocal warmth comes in. The enemy of vocal warmth is the monotone. A monotone voice is one that has a very narrow pitch range. It's flat, it's boring, and it makes it incredibly difficult for your listener to stay engaged. It signals disinterest and low energy. Charismatic speakers, on the other hand, use a wide range of vocal variety. They use pitch, pace, and volume to add color and emotion to their words. When they're telling an exciting part of a story, their pace might speed up and their pitch might rise slightly. When they're making a serious, important point, they might slow down and lower their volume, forcing you to lean in and listen closely. This isn't about being an actor or delivering a dramatic performance. It's about letting your genuine emotion and energy infuse your voice. A great way to practice this is to read children's books out loud. Seriously, it's impossible to read a Dr. Seuss book in a monotone. It forces you to play with your voice, to be expressive, to use different tones for different characters. This practice expands your vocal range and makes you more comfortable with using your voice as an instrument, not just a conveyor of information. The final piece of the vocal puzzle is the power of the pause. We often speak because we're afraid of silence. When we're nervous, we rush to fill every available space with words, creating a frantic, nonstop stream of sound. Confident speakers are not afraid of silence. They use pauses strategically. A pause before you make a key point builds anticipation and makes your audience pay closer attention. A pause after you've said something important gives your listener a moment to absorb your message. It's a nonverbal sign of confidence. It says, I am so comfortable with what I just said that I'm going to let it hang in the air for a moment. I don't need to rush on to the next thing. It allows you to breathe, to gather your thoughts, and to speak from a place of calm deliberation rather than anxious reactivity. By combining the downward inflection for authority, vocal variety for warmth and engagement, and strategic pauses for confidence, you transform your voice from a liability into your single greatest asset for influence. You learn to sound as credible and charismatic as you truly are. Conversation sparks, so your nonverbals are on point, your voice is communicating calm confidence. Now we get to the heart of the matter. What do you actually talk about? So many of us have been in that awkward situation where a conversation just dies. You've asked the basic questions, where are you from? What do you do? And now you're just standing there, smiling and nodding in a painful silence. Charismatic people rarely find themselves in this situation. Why? It's not because they are amazing storytellers who monopolize the conversation. In fact, it's the opposite. Charismatic people are masters at making you feel like the most interesting person in the room. They are curiosity collectors and story seekers. They have an arsenal of tools to bypass boring small talk and get to the good stuff. The passions, the quirks, the stories that make a person light up. I call these tools conversation sparks. They are questions and prompts designed to ignite genuine, exciting conversations. Your first mission is to officially banish boring, predictable questions from your vocabulary. The worst offender is, what do you do? While it's a standard question, it's often a conversational dead end. People give you their job title, and unless you're in the same industry, it's hard to know what to ask next. It also forces people into their professional box, which might not be the most interesting or authentic part of their life. Instead of, what do you do? I want you to try a spark question like, working on any exciting personal projects recently? This is a brilliant question because it gives the other person a huge menu of options. They could talk about their job if they love it, but they could also talk about the garden they're planting, the novel they're writing, the marathon they're training for, or the volunteer work they're passionate about. It invites them to share what actually animates them. Another great one is, what's been the highlight of your week so far? This is a beautiful, positive question that prompts the other person to scan their recent memory for a moment of joy, which immediately puts them in a better emotional state and gives you something real and personal to talk about. The key to a great spark question is that it is open-ended and invites a story, not a one-word answer. Once you've used a spark question to get the conversation started, your next job is to become a master thread puller. Imagine every statement someone makes is a piece of fabric with lots of little threads hanging off of it. Most people just let those threads hang. They hear the answer and just move on to their own story or the next question. A charismatic conversationalist listens intently for the most interesting, energetic, or unusual thread and gently pulls on it with a follow-up question. For example, someone answers your personal project question with, well, I've been trying to learn how to bake sourdough bread, but it's been a disaster. The boring response is, oh, that's cool. The thread puller response is, a disaster? I love it. What's been the biggest sourdough catastrophe so far? This does two powerful things. First, it proves you are actually listening. Second, it gives them permission to share a real, human, and probably funny story of failure, which is a fantastic way to build rapport and connection. You are constantly listening for keywords that have emotional energy behind them. Words like love, hate, crazy, disaster, amazing. When you hear one, that's your cue. Pull that thread. Ask, what was the most amazing part? Or what made it so crazy? This simple technique turns you from a passive listener into an active and engaged conversational partner. The final piece of the puzzle is learning how to share your own stories and passions in a way that invites connection. The goal is not to impress, but to express. One of the best ways to do this is to be vulnerably victorious. This means when you share a success, you also share the struggle that went with it. Instead of saying, I just ran a marathon, which can sometimes feel intimidating, try, I just ran my first marathon, which was insane because I used to hate running and the training was absolutely brutal at first. This makes your success feel more relatable and human. It gives people an entry point into your story. Another powerful technique is to end your stories with an invitation for them to share. For example, after sharing your marathon story, you could add, have you ever taken on a challenge that you thought was totally impossible at first? This gracefully passes the conversational baton back to them and turns your personal story into a bridge for shared experience. By arming yourself with conversation sparks, mastering the art of thread pulling, and sharing your own experiences in an inviting way, you completely transform your ability to connect with others. You move beyond the weather and job titles into the rich, fascinating world of who people truly are, and that is where real charisma is born. Inner game. We have covered a ton of incredible, actionable, science-backed tools. The nonverbal cues of warmth and confidence, the vocal cues of authority and engagement, the verbal skills of sparking and deepening conversation. You could take just these things and see a massive improvement in your social interactions. But this last chapter is the one that truly separates the charismatic naturals from the people who are just performing charisma. This is the part that 99% of people miss because it's not a trick or a technique. It's about building the internal foundation upon which all of these external skills rest. This is your inner game, because here's the truth. If you walk into a room using all the right body language, but inside you're thinking, I'm not good enough, nobody here likes me, I'm an imposter, people will feel that incongruence. Your anxiety will leak out in tiny micro expressions, in your vocal tension, in the slight hesitation in your movements. You cannot fake true confidence long term. So, the ultimate hack is to learn how to generate genuine confidence from the inside out on demand. The secret to this is a concept I call priming for presence. You would never run a marathon without warming up your muscles. You would never give a huge presentation without reviewing your slides. Yet most of us walk into our most important social situations, a first date, a networking event, a big meeting, completely cold. We walk in carrying all the stress from our commute, all the anxiety about the outcome, and we hope for the best. This is a recipe for social failure. Priming is the act of creating a deliberate pre-performance ritual to put yourself in the optimal psychological, emotional, and even physiological state before you enter the room. It's about consciously deciding how you want to feel and then using proven tools to create that feeling. It's you taking control of your own neurochemistry. I want you to create your own 5-minute charisma warm-up, a ritual you can do in your car, in the bathroom, or even at your desk before a video call. Here's a simple framework you can use. Let's call it the WIN method. W is for what's my win? Your goal here is to get a hit of authentic confidence by remembering a time you succeeded. Before you walk in, close your eyes and vividly recall a specific memory of a time you felt proud, confident, and successful. It could be a time you nailed a presentation, crossed a finish line, or made a room full of people laugh. Don't just think about it, try to relive it. What did you see? What did you hear? Most importantly, what did that feeling of success feel like in your body? Reaccessing this memory triggers the same neurochemical response in your brain as the original event, giving you a tangible surge of confidence. I is for what's my intention? Social anxiety often comes from a place of selfish worry. What will they think of me? Will I sound smart? Will they like me? This is a high-pressure, self-focused state. I want you to flip the script by setting a generous intention. Instead of focusing on what you can get, focus on what you can give. Your intention might be, my goal tonight is to make at least one person feel heard and understood. Or, my intention is to learn one fascinating new thing from someone I meet. A generous intention shifts you from a state of anxiety to a state of curiosity and service. It takes the pressure off of you and makes social interaction an act of giving, not a performance to be judged. N is for what's my number one? This is about music. The research on the power of music to alter our emotional state is undeniable. I want you to create a power playlist of songs that make you feel absolutely unstoppable, joyful, and confident. Before your event, put on your headphones and listen to your number one power anthem. Don't just listen to it, feel it. Let the beat and the lyrics flood your system. Research shows that listening to high-power, bass-heavy music can actually increase feelings of power and even alter your hormone levels. slightly increasing testosterone and decreasing the stress hormone cortisol. It is the fastest way to change your state. So your full WIN ritual takes 5 minutes. 2 minutes to relive your win, 1 minute to set your generous intention, and 2 minutes to blast your power anthem. When you combine this inner priming with all the external techniques we've discussed, something magical happens. The body language feels natural, not forced. The vocal confidence is real because it's coming from a place of genuine self-assurance. The conversational curiosity is authentic because you've shifted out of anxiety and into a state of service. This is the final, most important piece. The external cues get you in the door, but the internal game is what makes people want you to stay. Charisma is not a mysterious gift bestowed upon a chosen few. It is the beautiful, learnable art and science of making other people feel seen, heard, and valued. It's about understanding the hidden language of human connection and using it to reveal the best parts of yourself and to discover the best parts of others. It's not about becoming someone else. It's about removing the layers of anxiety and self-doubt that have been obscuring the naturally confident, warm, and engaging person you already are. It is the ultimate expression of you. What's the one cue or trick you're going to start using today? I'd love to hear your commitment in the comments below.